today. The president landing in Columbia within the next few seconds, as you can see for yourself. A live report. Air Force One just now touching down at the Columbia Airport. Biden in the capital city today, expected to visit FTD Flex, LTD Flex. He left the White House about 10:10 this morning. And in this visit at Flex LTD Company, we're expecting to hear about a partnership between Flex and Enphase. Now, that partnership is expected to bring hundreds of jobs to the Midlands. Enphase Energy is a global energy technology company. It's also the world's leading supplier of microinverter-based solar and battery systems. We'll talk more about the company in just a couple of minutes, but let's look in live again as Air Force One landing here in the Midlands. Not the president's first visit to South Carolina, but his first working visit under this administration. We are expecting to see local dignitaries, elected officials there at the airport to welcome the president in. We have so far seen Columbia Mayor Daniel Rickman there, as well as 6th District Congressman Jim Clyburn. We're going to take a live look, listen in for just a second to see if there's any more that we can see on the ground there at the Columbia Airport.
Here in a second, but you're exactly right.
Congressman Clyburn is here.
Mayor Daniel Rickman of Columbia is
okay. It sounds like we are not able to see anything from that vantage point. We have News 19's Whitney Sullivan there, team coverage across the Midlands for this presidential visit. So we'll just continue to follow this vision as we're expecting the plane to taxi around in just a couple of minutes and see as the president comes off of the plane. But this was him very early this morning, leaving Joint Base Andrews at 10:10 this morning. Around 10:30 this morning, the president departed. He is a couple of minutes early. He was not expected to arrive at the Columbia Metropolitan Airport until about 11:50, and as you can see for yourself, it's 11:45, so he's about 5 minutes ahead of schedule. The president will tour Flex LTD at around 1 o'clock this afternoon, and then by 1:15 this afternoon, we are expecting the president to give us remarks on this merger, these two companies coming together that are expected to bring hundreds of jobs again to the Midlands. As I mentioned a moment ago, News 19's Whitney Sullivan there live for us. Whitney, talk to us about what you're seeing on the ground.
Hey, good morning, Darcy. Well, as you said, the president has landed. Air Force One just dropped down at Eagle Aviation a few seconds ago. And what's happening right now is they are going to take the plane and bring it around to the area that you are seeing on your screen. So again, we are just waiting for them to pull the plane over to our area. Now, right now, I'm standing in a fenced-in area where a lot of the media is. But right next to me, we have military family and friends who are here to see the president. But also, we have Representative Jim Clyburn as well as Mayor Daniel Rickman, as they will be here to greet the president. Now, we know that this visit is a part of Biden's Investing in America tour. So again, this is a part of his tour. But as you can see, the plane now making its way closer to where our cameras are. And once President Biden steps down again, he will be greeted by a number of people. Now, I do want to tell y'all, security here is tight. From the moment that we got here at 10 o'clock this morning, the area has been covered with Secret Service, local law enforcement. We have seen fire and rescue, EMS. It's what you expect to see when you have a president visiting your area. They are checking bags, they are checking IDs, again, making sure that everything moves smoothly. And not only do you have the media here and the military family and friends here to see the president, but also you're going to see a lot of folks in suits who are a part of the security team, again, making sure that everything runs smoothly. But as you can see, one of the most iconic aircrafts in the world making its way closer to us, coming in closer to Eagle Aviation, which, as many of you know, is a part of the Columbia Metropolitan Airport. Now, as Darcy explained, the president is about 5 minutes early. He was expected to arrive. All right, so I'm going to send things back to you, Darcy.
Okay, as Air Force One does get closer to Whitney, you can see for yourself the size of the plane. It is massive. It is drowning out her microphone. So we're going to continue to keep this live picture as we are expecting the president to make his way to Flex LTD in West Columbia around 1 o'clock this afternoon. We're going to have live team coverage from across the Midlands as we're expecting the president, as Whitney mentioned just moments ago, to talk about how this visit plays into the bigger picture of economic growth, not only here in the Midlands, but across the country. It's part of what the president has described as Bidenomics, his plan for incorporating the economic changes that are necessary to bring all Americans up across the country financially, and in that same breath incorporating a greener world. In addition to Whitney Sullivan being out there, we're going to continue our team coverage with News 19 morning anchor, one of the newest members of our team, Christy Calcagno. She's there as well, watching as Air Force One has landed. Christy, what's your vantage point and what are you seeing?
Hey, good morning, Darcy. Yeah, so right now we're actually in the cell phone lot here at the airport, and there's already dozens of people who were parked in, got out of their cars just to go and see the airport. You can see these ladies. Hey, I need your reaction, ladies. What did you think when you saw that plane? How long were you waiting out here for?
We had already looked on the internet to find out his schedule, so we had parked just in time to get here. So we'd been out here about 20 minutes.
Okay.
But this is history. This is us being active participants in history. And I'm an educator, so I try to bring this to my classroom, so I'll definitely use this video for later.
So as an educator, what grade do you teach?
Middle school, 7th grade. I'm actually a science teacher, but anytime I can incorporate living history artifacts, I try to use that for my kids.
You know, what does this mean, not only as an educator, but, you know, just it looks like there are kids here, there are some teenagers here. What does this mean to be able to see this once in a lifetime opportunity?
So this is actually, it's very historical, very impactful, and it allows for children just like her to be a part of that and to understand that the Biden, the president, the POTUS, the airplane, all of that is real. And that the fact that it's here is amazing, that South Carolina is on the map for someone as his stature to be here.
You know, seeing it with the kids and all of that too. You know, they can't vote yet, but you could see how big that plane was. I can imagine going, whoa, look how big. So.
It's laying the foundation to allow that they can be a participant in creating our history.
Awesome. Hey, well, thank you so much for taking the time.
I'm glad you're here.
Hey, yeah, it's always good to be here. Yeah, so about a dozen or so cars actually lined up here at the cell phone lot at the airport. We actually came on by chatting with a couple of people. They said, yeah, I'm just waiting for something special to happen. That's what they were telling us. And we waited and waited, boy, and we see the Air Force One go ahead and touch down. That's when this whole family over here was going to go get out of their cars, grab their cell phones, and actually go all the way down there just to get a glimpse of the plane and President Biden. Now, we were actually able a few minutes ago to actually talk to some families who had the opportunity to sit down and get invited to be there right next to the president. Of course, we'll actually have a little sneak peek of that coming up a little bit later on, starting at Friends at 5. So that you're going to have to wait for, especially talking to little girls and kids about exactly, you know, what this really means, this iconic moment for teenagers and for kids, as well as for adults and educators. So I'm going to send this back over to you guys in the studio, reporting live here at the airport. I'm Christy Calcagno for News 19 WLTX.
Christy, thank you so much. We are waiting for the president and his team to come off Air Force One. From there, his motorcade will head into West Columbia, where he's going to visit Flex LTD. Again, we've got a crowd of folks who are there to welcome the president, supporters, but we also have some Trump supporters, protesters who have also gathered in that area. And so, again, a crowd of people who will be coming off of the plane in support of Bidenomics, what the president says is his push to make sure that everyone across the country is on a level playing field when it comes to economic advancements. This is always an exciting time when the president of the United States comes to your city, whether you vote red or blue. It is always an exciting time to see this entire process that does not go off without a lot of planning ahead of time. If you're looking in the lower left-hand corner of your screen, you can see on the left in the blue suit, that's Columbia Mayor Daniel Rickman. Walking alongside him is 6th District Congressman James Clyburn. And as they are walking closer to the plane to greet the President of the United States, we're going to send things back out to the airport, and that's where we find News 19's Whitney Sullivan.
Well, that's right, Darcy. You've explained it so well. Things here at Eagle Aviation are moving like clockwork. As soon as those stairs came down, you saw a number of people who travel with President Biden coming down. Columbia Mayor Daniel Rickman and 6th District Congressman Clyburn have already moved up, as they are the local elected officials who will be greeting the president, welcoming here to the Midlands. Now, what you're also seeing in front of me is the president's motorcade. It really is like clockwork in regards to the fact that everybody is moving at once. They know their positions. They know where they're supposed to be. Now, you are taking a look at a lot of military, a lot of Secret Service, a lot of local law enforcement, again, making sure that security is tight, making sure that everything moves smoothly. Now, he has a jam-packed schedule while he is here in West Columbia, and we're still waiting for the president to exit down the stairs, but everybody is getting in their place for him to come down. So we're waiting those moments for him to finally touch ground here in West Columbia. Now, again, this is a part of his Investing in America tour. So here's a rundown of what you can expect today. Now, once he is greeted by Clyburn and Rickman, he will leave the airport and travel to Flex Ltd., which is a manufacturing company in West Columbia. And it's going to be a very short drive. I mean, it's only 2 miles between the airport and Flex. Once there, he will tour the company around 12:50. Then at 1:15, he will deliver remarks about the nation's economy. And we've been told he's expected to promote his new economic plans, as Darcy has been saying, known as Bidenomics. But there you see the president walking down the steps now. There are people next to me who are cheering for him as he walks down, and again being greeted by our local officials. Now, once he greets them, he will get into the motorcade and then head to Flex. But as you can see, Secret Service right now on high alert. You can see everybody watching the president's moves as he gets ready to get into his motorcade. Now, for my friends who are going to be traveling in this area, please understand that everything is going to be shut down as the president makes his way to Flex to tour that company and to deliver his remarks. Now, when the president travels, as you can see, he does not travel by himself. Over a dozen people have come with him as he makes his visit here to West Columbia, and people are now just getting ready for him to make that transition from Air Force One to the motorcade. Now, I can't stress this enough, the amount of security that is on the ground. Every way I turn, I see somebody standing ready by. A lot of Secret Service, a lot of folks in suits, again, a lot of security here, but this is not abnormal. This is what you expect when you have the President of the United States in your area. Now, again, he is going to travel here very soon, and once he tours the company at Flex, he's going to deliver some remarks at 1:15, and the White House has told us he's going to talk about Bidenomics and how it's spurring manufacturing investments and jobs across the country, including the new partnership between Enphase Energy and Flex, which is expected to create up to 600 jobs in South Carolina. Now, the president's visit is expected to wrap up around 2. He's expected to leave West Columbia at 2:20, where he will then travel back to Joint Base Andrews, which is a military base in Maryland. Now, as many of you know, President Biden, as you can see here, this is familiar territory. He's walking with Rickman and Clyburn with a smile on his face. He actually looks like he is headed toward us here, the press, but look at the people as they move with him. Again, he is heavily guarded, has a lot of security around him. He does not move alone. As many of you know, Representative Clyburn is a very vocal supporter of President Biden. He has really been an ally for him over several years, not just in his presidency. Now, look at this. We are actually getting our view blocked because so many people are walking with him. We have some press here, but look at Biden. He right now is shaking hands with people who have come out to see him. We have been told that these are friends and family of military members in our area, also friends and family of some of the Secret Service folks in this area. But he right now is spending some time talking to them, which is something that we saw when he came and visited our area not too long ago. As many of you remember, the last time he made an official visit here in South Carolina is when he delivered the graduation remarks at South Carolina State University. But again, shaking hands, speaking to the people who have waited out in this very hot sun to see him. And right now you can see President Biden is all smiles as he talks with the people. You can see people taking pictures of him, wanting just a couple of moments to speak with the president. Now, the people around him, again, security, and they are not letting anybody get close to him. They are creating and maintaining a large distance between him and the folks of the media and anybody who is not within that gate. As you can see, he's talking to a young teenager here, shaking his hands, having a conversation. But these folks have been waiting out here for about 30-45 minutes in order to have a conversation with him. There are some ladies that I've seen who have been here since 10 o'clock this morning who really just wanted that moment to meet the President of the United States. Now, whether you vote red or blue or you are in between, having the president visit is a big deal. And so you can see that here. And so Biden is doing what you see Biden do a lot of times, talking with the folks, shaking their hands. And right beside him, you see Congressman Clyburn. And this is actually a very visual representation of the relationship that they have. Clyburn has had Biden's back since he announced that he was running for president years and years ago before he even took this position. And so, again, they have a very strong relationship that we have seen play out over the years. Also, we now see folks, though, some of the Secret Service now heading back to the car. So for me, this is signaling the fact that he is about to wrap up the visit with the folks who have come out here to see him and is getting ready to get inside that motorcade. But right now, he is taking pictures with some children, some parents, but you can see that Secret Service staying really close beside him. But again, a lot of people out here wanting to have a conversation with the president, wanting to shake his hands. Now, in the background, what I'm seeing, you may not be able to see that right now, but what I am seeing is people preparing for that motorcade to leave. It is a long motorcade, over 5 cars deep. And then everybody is also being held outside of the folks you see in that gated area. Everybody else is being told that they can't come up any closer. Standing right over there, too, we have Mayor Rickenman, who it looks like he will be traveling with him to flex as well. And there we have him. You can see still taking pictures, still greeting the folks who are there. Now, this isn't going to be, it's going to be a packed day for him, but it's not going to be too long. He's not going to be here in the Midlands for too long. Now, South Carolina, as many of you know, is an extremely important for President Biden. Now, he announced that he would seek a second term back in April. South Carolina will be an important step in the upcoming election, as the Palmetto State will be the Democratic Party's first primary during the 2024 presidential primary season. So again, this state holds a lot of influence. It holds a lot of importance for President Biden. And we know, again, he's no stranger to the Palmetto State. Him and his wife, First Lady Jill Biden, they have vacationed in Kiowa Island. First Lady Biden was actually here just last week in the Low Country speaking, giving a commencement address there. But President Biden still spending time talking to everybody. It looks like he is taking time to speak to every single person that came out there. And it's not just shaking hands and moving on, but it's actually exchanging a few words with all of the people. But again, as he is talking, I'm seeing more Secret Service members start to move toward their positions to prepare for him to go to that motorcade. Now this, again, a part of the Investing in America tour, where he is really expected to deliver remarks touting, promoting, praising Biden economics. So a lot of people waiting to see what he is going to say about that. Now, it looks like he is about to wrap up. There are just a few people left that he has not spoken to in that area. Now, I do have to say that large group of other press that we saw, they have moved out of the way. And so, again, it looks like he is about to get into his motorcade. As you can see right there, they already have the door open, so he can just hop in and go ahead and head to Flex LTD. But right now, I'm going to send things to you, Darcy.
Whitney, thank you so much. This is amazing to be able to watch this, watching the president interact with the people who have come there to greet him, his supporters. I know from your vantage point, you can't see as much as we were able to see on air, but there was another very familiar face in the crowd there, Whitney. It was Asia Wilson, Gamecock legend, Las Vegas Aces basketball star. Her dad, Roscoe Wilson, was one of the first people that the president greeted when he went over to speak with supporters. But as you can see, a wide variety of ages of people who are there. It is a hot day to visit South Carolina, but President Biden doing what he is known to do when in these types of events, and that is to take the time, as much time as it takes to greet the people who are there. He's now shaking hands with Columbia Mayor Daniel Rickman. This plant is in West Columbia, so it's interesting that we don't have more representation from West Columbia as far as elected officials there to greet the president. But as you can see now, he is getting into what they call the beast. He is getting into the motorcade to head over now to Flex LTD. As I mentioned a moment ago, we have team coverage of the president's visit across the area. Christy Calcagno joins us now. She has had an opportunity to speak with some folks who showed up today just to be a part of this historical moment. Christy.
Yeah, good morning, Darcy. That's exactly right. A lot of people here today just wanted to get a glimpse of American history as Air Force One touched down here at the airport. And I've had the opportunity to speak to people of all walks of life and all ages, importantly. Opportunities for young people who might not get this opportunity again, as well as educators. A few moments ago, we had the opportunity to just chat with a middle school teacher. She said although she teaches science, she's going to incorporate what she witnessed today and she witnessed with her family, and she's going to bring that into the classroom. Other things I was able to chat with people about are little kids. Specifically, I was chatting with a 10-year-old, an 11-year-old, and a 15-year-old. All of them said, "This is cool. I can't wait to tell my friends in the classroom that I were able to do this." Now, we're currently at the cell phone lot here at the airport. And so right now it is dying down just a little bit because right here behind me, you aren't able to see Air Force One anymore. But once it landed, when I tell you, Darcy, they came out in droves. At least 24 people got out of their cars, hopped onto the roof of their cars, grabbed their cell phones, and was able to take a picture. Just chatting with other people, as I mentioned, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And that was what was really important, being able to bring the entire family. They're telling me that this is the opportunity that they might not get, and what momentous occasion it is to see it right here in their hometown. Now, Whitney already mentioned that some family members from the Secret Service, as well as some other people who were invited to attend inside the hangar. Actually, before they went in, I was able to speak to some of them. And one little girl was surprised. In fact, it was a surprise. A cute little 10-year-old girl named Kylie said, "What do you mean? Who am I seeing?" I said, "You're seeing the President of the United States." Again, we'll have that full interview coming up in just a little bit, starting at Friends at 5. But yeah, you talk about with these kids what this really means of this momentous occasion. Some might not really understand, but what really is the parents. The parents talking, the parents sitting down, the parents chatting and saying this is going to be important for people. And this is what you're going to remember really for the rest of their life. So yeah, they all definitely grabbed their cell phones, grabbed that video, grabbed that selfie if they could. So yeah, the cell phone lot is right now dying down a little bit, but it was really good to see that momentous occasion for a lot of people in here. Reporting live here at the airport, I'm Christy Calcagno for News 19 WLTX.
Christy, thank you so much. That White House, the motorcade moving towards Flex LTD, it's about a little less than a mile and a half away from where the president is right now. So it is a short trip. But as you could see from that motorcade, there are a number of vehicles, everything from emergency vehicles to Secret Service, the White House Press Corps. It's a long chain of cars heading toward Flex LTD. Zoe Henry is standing outside of the company right now, which is the center of focus for the nation, as this is the president's only stop on his agenda today. Outside of being back at the White House, this is the only place he is going to be today. Zoe, talk to us a little bit about what you're seeing outside.
Well, Darcy, I'm out here along Platte Springs Roads right here. It's completely blocked off. Lexington County sheriffs and other law enforcement agencies are out here. There is no traffic moving this way. Now, also, this road right here you see right in front of you is West Cargo Drive. Now, this is coming straight from the airport. Nobody coming out of the airport is able to come out of this way. Now, you can also see the red and white flags behind me. We've got Trump supporters protesting Biden's visit today. They say that they're not very happy with the direction of the country right now. They're here to show support for former President Donald Trump. But as I said, no traffic is moving, not even on Platte Springs Road. We're waiting for the motorcade to come this direction so that he can come and visit Flex Company, the manufacturer here in West Columbia. As of right now, we are still waiting for him to come down this direction.
Zoe, thank you so much. This is going to be Congressman Clyburn's second visit to Flex Ltd. in about a week's time. We know he was here just last week with the Energy Secretary to talk about some of the advancements that are happening at Flex Ltd. So it was not by chance that the president is here, but also that he is accompanied by 6th District Congressman Jim Clyburn, who saw firsthand what is happening within the doors of that company. This visit and this combination of these companies coming together is expected to bring as many as 600 new jobs to the Midlands. Now, this is a global company whose focus is on making sure that the world is greener and doing that by creating green energy jobs. The state Democratic Party chair, Crystal Spain, newly elected, talked about Bidenomics and how that is going to be a big part of the president's speech as well. But as we saw just then in that video along West Cargo Drive, where News 19's Zoe Henry is, Flex is on that road. The only traffic coming down that road right now is the president's motorcade headed into the company. He is expected to begin his remarks right before 1 o'clock this afternoon. And so we're checking how things look outside of the company. Let's continue our team coverage inside the company. That's where we find News 19's Becky Buds. Becky, I know everyone in there is waiting for the president to come on in.
Darcy, the doors opened here about an hour ago, and since then people have been filing in. I've noticed several state lawmakers here, Democratic state lawmakers here to show support for the president, including Senate Minority Leader Brad Hutto and Representative J.A. Moore from the Low Country. We also saw supporters sitting outside in this heat with signs that read, "We love Biden," and he's coming to a state here that he actually lost by nearly 12 percentage points in 2020, but he's here to show that his investments in South Carolina are keeping this deep red state going. And like you said, Darcy, this partnership is projected to create 600 jobs in this state and 1,200 more throughout the country. And right now it's pretty quiet, not much going on here, but that's what's happening inside here. Back to you, Darcy.
Becky, let me ask you a couple of questions while I have you. I know you talked about some of the elected officials who were there waiting to greet the president. Are the rest of the people who are in those seats supporters, or are they employees of Flex?
I can say, Darcy, I think it's a mix. I've definitely noticed we have some employees repping t-shirts or polos with the logos on them, and you can see state lawmakers. We also have Senator Marlin Kimpson, who is going to be working for the White House soon. He stepped down from his Senate seat earlier this year, but it's definitely a mix of community members, employees, and some state lawmakers.
All right, Becca, we appreciate it. Thank you so much. There's so many cameras in that area. Every once in a while, we're going to find ourselves having an issue like what we just saw. Lots of cameras lead at times to some technical issues. As you saw from Zoe, everyone who is there is not necessarily there in support of the president's visit, even though it is bringing 600 new jobs to the Midlands. The state Republican Party made a statement ahead of the president's visit, pointing out what they say that Biden will not talk about. That statement in part says, quote, "It will be interesting to see if Biden has anything to say about why inflation continues to rise faster than wages, why the border is still being overrun, or why his Justice Department has two different standards of justice." But as we said just moments ago, every time a president visits the Midlands, WLTX covers it, and it's always a historical moment. We spoke to the South Carolina Democratic Party ahead of the president's arrival today. Party Chair Crystal Spain says the president is also expected to talk about his bipartisan infrastructure law, something the party says brought more than $1.9 billion to fix, repair, and replace the state's aging roads and bridges.
To date, this law has delivered $1.9 billion for South Carolina's roads and bridges, over $500 million for internet access in our state, including the most rural areas, $89 million to improve our drinking water infrastructure, and $5 million to make our energy grid more efficient. That money is already being put to work.
She goes on to tout Biden's help in getting federal money to build a new bridge in Orangeburg that will be a pedestrian walkway, making it a safe path for students from Claflin and South Carolina State to get into the city. Again, the president expected to make remarks around 12:50 this afternoon, but it is a hot day here in the Midlands. We're going to turn things over to meteorologist Daniel Bonds to get a look at your forecast.
Yeah, it is hot and humid, exactly what we would expect for the 6th day of July. Here's our temperatures as of noon across the Palmetto State. 84 degrees in the capital city, 82 in Sumter, 86 in Orangeburg. We're in that same range. It looks like along the low country of South Carolina and over towards the Grand Strand, it's 80 degrees in the PD, but that's only half the story. You mix in the humidity, it feels even hotter. It already feels like 94 in Orangeburg, feels like 91 in Columbia, so it's hot and it's humid, and heat index values will be climbing as we go throughout the day, expecting heat index values to top off in the upper 90s to near 100 degrees. Air temperatures probably in the low to mid 90s. There will be that opportunity for some showers and thunderstorms during the heat of the day. Then we do it all over again tomorrow. Typical summertime like pattern. It's going to be hot, it's going to be humid. There'll be a chance for some afternoon showers and storms, and then looking ahead towards the first half of the weekend, more of the same. High temperatures pretty seasonal, right around 93 degrees, and during the afternoon and evening hours there will be that chance for a few pop-up showers and storms. We'll take another look at your forecast if time allows coming up in just a few minutes. Darcy.
All right, Daniel, thank you so much. The president expected to leave Columbia by about 2:20 this afternoon, so it looks like it will be a hot but dry visit for him here in the Midlands. Stay with us. We've got more on President Biden's visit to the Midlands coming up after this short break.
did? How big was that plane?
A million miles.
Yeah? It was a really cool big plane. Did you know who was in that plane?
It was a jet.
Do you know who was in that jet?
The people who, it was our sir that flew our plane and he brought us snacks. The plane was actually flying itself.
Well, yeah. I mean, hey, that's a really big plane and stuff like that. So how old are they?
He is 5 and he's almost 3.
3. So, at that young age, how important is it to, kind of show these kids? This might be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for them. So, are you hoping that they kind of take this opportunity and hold on to it?
Yeah.
Yeah. What does this mean for you as well?
I mean, it was exciting to me as well. I didn't realize that he was going to be here today.
Yeah. But now you might be stuck a little bit, right?
Yeah. We were going to go get some food and go bowling. They don't live here. They live in Houston.
Oh, okay. All right. Hey, well, that's really cool. You're in here in Houston and being able to see the president. How cool is that? Awesome. Hey, well, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, that reaction really is, wow, isn't that so cool? You're able to see that, and once in a lifetime opportunity to do that. So I'm going to send it back over to you guys in the studio. Reporting live here at the airport, I'm Christy Calcagno for News 19 WLTX.
Oh, Christy, thank you so much. And to see it and hear it in the words of a child, who knows how that plane's being flown, but kids like the idea of snacks being on planes, and I've got a feeling on Air Force One they may have the best snacks that you can imagine. We're going to head back out to Flex LTD. News 19 Zoe Henry is standing outside of that business as we continue to wait on the president's motorcade. And so, Zoe, that would be my first question to you. It's only about a mile and a half away from where the president landed to Flex LTD. Has the motorcade arrived yet?
Darcy, seconds after my last hit, the motorcade came past. We had motorcycles, ambulances, law enforcement. I'm not exactly sure which car the president was in, but we had presidential flags, American flags. It was a long motorcade. Now, they went in there, I'd say less than 10 minutes ago. Now, all of the traffic is flowing everywhere. You see Platte Springs Road here is clear. Everyone's coming back through here. West Cargo Drive right here is coming back through from the airport here. Now, we still have some Trump supporters here in protest of President Biden's visit. And as I said before, they are here to support the former president.
Zoe, so what you're telling me now is that the roads are back open near Platte Springs Road, near Cargo Road, but I imagine right around 2 o'clock when the president wraps up his speech, we could probably see traffic being detoured again in that area. Have you heard anything from law enforcement about what their plan is moving forward?
They haven't given that plan yet to me. But that is the expectation, given that we still have some law enforcement trucks out here right at this entrance over at the Flex manufacturer company over there. And we still got someone sitting in the middle of Platte Springs Road.
All right. So, Zoe, in your opinion, does it look like they're there more to manage the traffic, or is it more of a security issue?
It's looking like more of a security thing. They're not really directing any traffic. It's flowing smoothly.
All right, Zoe Henry, we appreciate that. Our team covers across the Midlands. We have reporters inside and outside of Flex LTD, reporters at the airport. This is not the president's first visit to the Midlands. As a matter of fact, he and his family were here just last summer vacationing in Kiowa Island, so not his first visit to South Carolina since being elected. We're going to listen in as they have already started that program inside Flex LTD and see what they have to say about the partnership moving forward.
Domestic manufacturing of clean energy products. The IRA will not only increase the overall solar demand in the US, but also accelerate domestic production to cater to that increased demand. We are pleased to be part of creating new jobs in the US and advancing the country's clean energy economy. Many thanks to Revati, my friend, CEO of Flex, and her team for helping to coordinate this event here today. We are fortunate to have a very strong partner like Flex to manufacture our microinverters here in the US. really appreciate our 15-year partnership together. Enphase was founded in 2006 with the purpose of advancing a sustainable future for all. We are the world's leading supplier of microinverter-based solar and battery systems. Our microinverters are small, they're compact.
All right, as you see for yourself, that is an executive with Enphase talking more about that partnership between Flex Ltd and Enphase, a partnership that, according to the White House, will bring 600 new jobs to the Midlands, more than 1,200 new jobs across the country, and improve the environment on a number of different levels, from creating electric vehicle chargers to even improving some water and sewer upgrades, infrastructure investments, and biomedical technology. So the president is expected to start his tour of that facility at 12:50 this afternoon. We'll see that tour from the president, and then his remarks will begin at 1:15 this afternoon. Again, a very tight schedule for the president, beginning his day at 10 o'clock this morning, wrapping up his visit in Columbia before 2:30 this afternoon, as he is expected to leave West Columbia, leave the airport at 2:20 this afternoon. The video you're looking at now, supporters who have come out to see the president, including Asia Wilson's dad, Roscoe Wilson, as well as some elected officials, including Columbia Mayor Daniel Rickaman and 6th District Congressman James Clyburn. We're going to continue to follow this story for you. We'll have more when the president makes his remarks around 1:15.